Hello, dear students. I am Samir Velankar. I welcome all of you to this next video on binary search tree. In the previous video, we saw fundamentals of binary search tree, its appearance, the structure of binary search tree was seen, and how do you create binary search tree by using the ordering, that is less than and greater than ordering we saw. For instance, if we have data like this 100, 50, 200, 25, 300, 125, and let's say 250, and we want to add the data in a binary search tree, then we will take the data sequentially. The first data 100 will be added as root, and root pointer will point to the very first or the topmost node. Now, every node has two pointers, left and right. So, a node structure is made up of three members: integer data, and pointer called left, which can point to a node, and pointer called right, which can point to another node. So you can see in the program of binary search tree, in this video we will see program of binary search tree. You can see a structure node which contains integer data. Every node has integer data and two pointers, left and right, which can point to any node. Anyway, back to our binary tree construction. 100 was added as root. Now 50 will go to left of 100, the second value, because it is less than 100. But 200 will go to right of 100 because it is greater than 100. Now coming to our next value, 25. To add 25, you will have to start checking from root node. Well, the root node is having 100, and as 25, that the value you are adding is less than 100, you will visit left. But on visiting left of 100, you discover a node 50. So you compare the new value 25 with the existing value 50, and you know that 25 is less than 50, so it will be added to the left of 50, and left of 50 was vacant. This way, 300, the next value goes to right of 200, 125 goes to left of 200, 250, check that 250, the last value, is greater than 100, so we visit right, greater than 200, so we visit right, but less than 300, so 250 will be added to the left of 300. Now all the other pointers which are not utilized will be marked as null. So left and right pointer as an example of 250 will be marked as null. So it's a leaf node. Right pointer of 300 will be null, but left pointer of 300 is pointing to 250. So all these fundamentals about how to create binary search tree by hand on a paper was learned by all of us in the earlier video. Now in this video, we will be looking at a program to create a binary search tree. So the program starts with a struct declaration, and every structure, node structure will contain integer data and two pointers, left and right, which will point to any node. After that, we have written a function called insert node. Now insert node function will insert only one node at a time. I repeat, only one node at a time will be inserted. So if you want to insert 10 nodes, then you will have to call insert node function 10 times from the main. Well, after insert node, we have written in order traversal function. Well, we will learn first of all what do you mean by in order in the next video, and then we will come back to this recursive function. So we will be having a gap about learning this program. In the next video, we will learn theory about in order and pre-order. What is pre-order exactly and what is post-order will be learned in the next video, and then we will come back to this program. And finally, we have main. So let's start discussion from main. We want to create a binary search tree. In main, check the first line. There is a pointer declaration. Root is a pointer to a node, observe. So root is a pointer in the memory which can point to any node. Remember, node structure stores data and two pointers left and right. So root can point to any node, okay, but we have not created any node still. Still we have not created any node. Node will be created only after call to malloc. Now the next line is initializing root to null. This root pointer is initialized to null. Come again. You know that whenever a node exists, like it stores 100, then root pointer points to that node, isn't it? But root can point to a node only when the node exists. But right now we don't have, absolutely we don't have any node in the memory. So root pointer cannot point anywhere and root should be null. So that's what you call it as initialization of the root pointer. I hope you have understood why root pointer is null, because the tree is empty. We don't have any node yet created. So root cannot point to anywhere. Now time to call insert node. Look, in the insert node call, we are passing address of root. Now these terminologies have become quite common to you, but still I am repeating a few things as my habit goes. Root is a pointer, then root itself has address because pointer is stored in the RAM, in the memory. And we are passing to the insert node address of root. So the parameter in the insert node must be pointer to pointer. The second parameter we are passing is 100, meaning that we want to add a node which stores 100. Okay, let's come to insert node now. The insert node function over here is having pointer to a node. This pointer to pointer is literally getting address of root. We have passed address of root. And what do you remember? Root was a pointer in the memory stored at address 500. Maybe we have assumed it is stored at address 500. Then P is a pointer to pointer which will literally store address of root. Address of root is 500. Then P will point to root. Well, now onwards, in my code, if I write asterisk p notation, it means same as root, because asterisk p means value to which p points, and value to which p points is value of root. All right. Then the second parameter we have passed, check this, x is 100. So we want to create a node and store 100 in it. Let's see the next few lines. We have some pointer declarations here. Temp, A and B, all three are pointer of node type. So in the memory, there is a temp pointer, then there is A pointer and B pointer. And remember, all these are node pointers, so they can point to any node. But we don't have any node yet created. Now the next line is going to create a new node by using malloc. We have said malloc size of struct node. A new node will be created, and temp pointer, the left hand side that we have written, temp pointer will point to that new node. So maybe the new node is created at address 1000. Then temp will store 1000 and temp points to newly allocated node. You also know that this node contains data. It contains two pointers, left and right. This is the node allotted. Okay, the next line, temp arrow data equal to x. Temp arrow data equal to x means the new node's data, temp arrow data should be equal to 100 because x is 100. So we have stored this data 100 in the new node. The next line says temp arrow left and temp arrow right, both these pointers should become null. Well, you know this. The new node that we have created is the only node in the linked list, in the tree, isn't it? So it does not have any left successor and right successor. It doesn't have any children. So temp arrow left and temp arrow right both should be null. I hope you got this. Okay, now what? Now the next if you check. The if statement over here is asking if first is null. I hope I don't have, sorry. If root is null, yeah. Asterisk p is same as root, isn't it? So we are checking is root null, and you observe root is null. Remember in the main program before we came to this insert node, we had root equal to null. Just check. In the main, we started initializing root as null. Root is really null, and then we called insert for the first time. So in the existing situations, what we have is this if, check this, yeah, this if first, sorry, if root equal to null is true, then the if runs and the statement written inside the if is root should point wherever temp is pointing. Check this. Now root pointer will point wherever temp is pointing, and you know that temp is pointing to 1000. Root will literally store the value same as temp. Root is becoming equal to temp. Note the diagram. Temp is 1000, so root is 1000. That means root will point to the address 1000. And this is exactly what we wanted. What? We have only one node which stores 100. So root should point to that node. Root should point to topmost node, isn't it? Okay, so what do you do now? Where are you? The if statement was come again. Root was null, so we made root point wherever temp points. And the big point is the else that I have written after this will not run, because if was true, so this entire else will be skipped. And sorry, this is not the else, end of else. I'm so sorry. Wait a minute. Ha. Most of you might be surprised on seeing that. Yeah. Okay. The end of else. This was the end of while. I am so sorry. End of else is down under here. Check, this is the end of else. This entire big else section will be skipped, because if was true, what if was true? If root is null was true, isn't it? If root is null was true, so root pointed wherever temp points, and the else got skipped, and we have come to the end of insert node. Good lord, what a easy function. We have not done anything. Most of the lines in the else have got skipped, because if was true. And now once the insert node function ends, let's see what happens. When the insert node function ends, temp is deleted. It was local pointer. A is deleted, B is deleted. Note A and B were not used this time. Maybe next insert node call will use A and B. And this pointer to pointer is also deleted. It was a local pointer. Oh, look at the binary tree that we are having. We are having binary tree, just drawing it separately, which stores 100, whose left is null, observe, whose right is null, and there is a root pointer which is pointing to the topmost node. Just check the diagram above. Wonderful, isn't it? We have got a binary tree containing only one node. Okay. Now what happens if we call insert node repeatedly? Let me clean the slate. Okay, you might be arguing, why do I make the things so ugly? But you can't help. Your teacher has that habit of marking a line whenever your teacher reads the programs, I literally read it like my finger is moving on the top of the text. I mean, read it like any novel or newspaper. Believe me, I am so fond of reading a program more than a poetry. Okay, enough of praising myself. Now let's come back. Let's come back to main. Here we go. In main, we have finished the first insert node call. So now we come to the second insert node call. And the insert node call is calling by passing address of root, and this time we want to add 50. Now the existing tree, is having 100 at the root node. Root is pointing to the node, and left and right is null. Now if we are adding 50, 50 should be added to the left of 100. So the left pointer of 100, which was null, should change, and it should point to 50. And 50's left and right should become null. I hope you are understanding. Now, the best way to understand this insertion algorithm, this is usually I do in the classroom, is that I ask my students to assume that a bigger tree is already created. I ask the students that for some time, you all assume that 100, 50, 200, 25, 75, and 300 is inserted. Just assume. Well, you will know how they are inserted, but you just assume that so many values have been already inserted. And now we are calling insert node for inserting 85. We are passing address of root and we are passing 85. So let's see that how 85 will be inserted after so many insertions have been done. So I will draw a fresh tree. What are the values that we have inserted till now? I forgot them actually because I am out of page. But anyway, 100 was inserted, that I remember. Points at the topmost node. Then 50 was inserted after 100. Then 200 was inserted. It will go to the right. And after 200, I think after 200, 25, 75, 300. Okay. 25, 75 will go to the right of 50 and 300 was inserted. So I tell the students, and that same thing I am telling you, is that you assume that so many nodes have been already inserted. You assume a bigger tree, and now you assume that you are calling insert node for inserting 85. Now observe, you know very well where will 85 go. 85 will go to the left of 100. You can start from root. 85 is less than 100, but then 85 will be compared with 50. 85 is greater than 50, so 85 should go to the right of 50, but 85 will be compared with 75, and 85 is greater than 75, so it should go to the right of 75. So 85 will become right child of 75. But how exactly will this be done by my program is very interesting to see. Let's see. The first things first, the function declares three pointers, temp a and b. So let's make three pointers, temp a and b. Assume they are there, okay? Three pointers are declared. Then this line allocates a new memory for node, and temp points to that new node. So let's assume temp now, temp is a pointer which points to the new node. Now this new node has data, then left and right, left and right. Unnecessarily I wrote all the three. Let me make it clean. The new node that we have created has three members, data, left and right. And temp is pointing. Temp, listen, temp is pointing to the new node. Next is temp arrow data becomes X, and temp arrow left and temp arrow right. Both pointers are made null. So what happens is data becomes 85, temp arrow data becomes 85, and both left and right pointer, left is null and right is null. Obviously it should be, because you know from the earlier video that whenever we create a node, that node always goes at bottommost level. After all, 85 is going to go at the lowest level of the tree, and 85 will not have any children at the moment. So left and right of any new node should be immediately made null. Now the next condition is first, sorry again, if root equal to null. Is root null? Because asterisk p is same as root, isn't it? And root is not null because root is pointing to 100. So we know that the node that we have created is not the very first node. The node we have created is some consecutive node which should be added at some level of the tree, isn't it? So we are in the else. Check that. We push ourselves in the else portion now. All the best, all the best. You are heading towards something really very interesting. In the else, we use two pointers A and B, and A and B point wherever root points. A equal to B equal to root this is. So we have two pointers A and B, A pointing where root points and B points where root points. So both A and B point at 100. Now A and B are going to help us in one thing. These two pointers A and B, will help us to find parent of the new node. A and B will help us to find parent of 85, parent of the new node. New value is 85. You know parent of 85 should be 75 because 85 should be added to the right of 75. But then we don't get it directly, isn't it? A and B are going to move in the tree, left, right, or whatever, and they will tell us where should be 85 added. Okay, so A and B begin with root. Now we hang on in the while loop. I'll better mark this while loop. This is the while loop. And we repeat this while loop as long as A is not null. Now you very well see that A is not null because A is pointing to 100 in the picture. So we enter the while loop and B becomes equal to A. Check this line, first line, B becomes equal to A. But anyway, B is equal to A. B is pointing to the same node where A points. So this line B equal to A has no effect first time. Now check the next if. If X, remember X is 85, the new value that we are inserting. If 85 is less than A arrow data, what is A arrow data? Observe, A arrow data in the picture is 100. So we have 85 is less than 100. So what is your conclusion? Come again, come here now. What is this meaning? You are adding such a value 85, which is less than the value of root, less than the value of A arrow data, isn't it? So where should 85 get added? Yes, exactly. 85 is less than 100, so 85 should be added to the left of 100. I hope you got this. Then as if is true, as this if is true, A becomes A arrow left. That means A will discontinue to point to 100, but A will point, A, the pointer A will discontinue to point to 100, but A will point to the left of 100. That is, A will point to 50. Yes, exactly. I hope you are getting it. Now, why has A really moved to 50? Because 85 should be added to the left of 100. 85 is less than 100. So A now is pointing at 50. But look at this. B is still pointing at 100. A has moved to 50. So throughout this methodology, throughout this while loop, what you will notice is A will move ahead to next generation, but B will remain behind. B will be just behind by one generation. B will be at the parent, but A will move to the child. Okay. So if was true, if X less than A arrow data was true, so A became A arrow left and else won't run. Else won't run. A equal to A arrow right won't run and we will go back to while. Now we are into the while for the second time. Let's see what happens. Back to while. I hope you have started reading the while. What's the while condition? While A is not equal to null. We are back here, you see. While A is not equal to null. And A is not null because A is pointing at 50, you observe. So we will enter the while loop and B will become equal to A. Now, if B becomes equal to A, it means B will not point where it was pointing, but B will point exactly where A is pointing, B equal to A. So look how B also joins A and B is pointing at 50. Yes, everyone. Now the next if I am marking, I am encircling. The next if is checking if X, remember X is 85, the new value. If X is less than A arrow data, but A arrow data this time is 50, observe the cursor. A arrow data is 50. And we are asking, is X, that is 85, less than 50? We are asking. But 85 less than 50 is false. So what do you understand from this? That the new value 85 that we are adding is not less than the data at which we are. We are at 50. So where shall we move? We should move to the right because larger values should be added to the right. You will agree that 85 must be added to the right of 50. So as this if is false, we will land in else. And else says A, you should move to the right child. A should move to the A arrow right, isn't it? So A will discontinue to point to 50. But now A will point to 75. A becomes A arrow right. But observe how B is still pointing to 50. B will always point to parent and A will move to the child. All right. So we have finished the second repetition of while. Now let's go back to while again. Can we repeat? Keep reading the while. What is while asking? While is asking, is A not null? And A is not null because you observe A is pointing at 75. So we are entering the while loop for the third time. So B becomes equal to A. Now look how B becomes equal to A means, look how B follows A. B will discontinue to point to 50, but B will also be, oh, but B will point wherever A points. B is equal to A. So B also points at 75. Okay, good. After B equal to A, we ask again, is the new value that we are adding, that is 85, less than A arrow data? Now check A arrow data, this time is 75. So we are asking, is 85 less than 75? This is false. So what do you understand from this is that the new value that we are adding is greater than the value at which we are. We are at 75 right now. Then we should move to the right of this current value. So as the if is false, the else runs and A moves to the right child. That means A will become A arrow right. This is it. This is it. Now you see, A is becoming equal to A arrow right. Watch the cursor. If A becomes equal to A arrow right, but A arrow right is null, that means A will literally become null. The pointer A will now have a value null, but B has not become null. Observe how B was carefully following A, isn't it? So B is still at 75, but A has moved ahead. We have said A should become A arrow right, so A has become null. What happens after A is equal to A arrow right? We go back to while and ask while, can we continue? But while says no, not now. Because for repeating the while, A should not be null, but observe A has become null. So the loop breaks. Now, one thing is sure, when the loop breaks, we are sure that A is null. I'll again clean few things. Check that. We are sure that A is null, isn't it? That's why the loop stopped. But B is not null. So what is significance of this pointer B? You might have found out by now. A has become null, but B is still not null. And look at this, I will emphasize loudly now. B is pointing exactly to that node which should become parent of 85. Good Lord, look at this interesting fact. B always points to the node to which 85 should be attached. I mean, when the while stops, you know that A is null, surely, but B points to the node which should be parent of 85. Good discovery, isn't it? But we are still not knowing one thing. Okay, we know that B should become parent of 85, but we don't know whether B should be 85, the new value 85 should be left of 75 or right of 75. We just can't blindly say that B arrow right should be 85 or B arrow left should be 85. So for doing this, we will ask one more question. The question here is, if X, that is 85, is less than B arrow data. This time we will compare the new value 85 with B arrow data. Now notice B arrow data in the picture is 75, isn't it? And 85 less than 75 is false. Now you check that this is B arrow data. 85 less than B arrow data is false. So where will you add 85? Yes, exactly. 85 is larger than 75, isn't it? So you will add 85 to the right of 75. Now I hope, because the if is false, you have landed in else. And in the else, we have B arrow right equal to temp. Look at this. B arrow right is becoming equal to temp. Check this. B arrow, B arrow right. This right I am talking about. B arrow right should become equal to temp. It means B arrow right should point wherever temp points. So B arrow right now stores the address of 85. I hope you got it. After the else ends, the insert ends. That's the way how we have located the place for 85. We first found that 75 should become the parent, and then we inserted 85. Okay, I'm going to take your time, a bit of time again. Just check, what if we have a tree like this. 100 is the root, 50 is the left, 25 is the left, 75 is the right of 50, 200 is the right of 100, and 250 is the right of to 100, and other pointers, as I am showing, are null. Root is pointing to 100. Assume that we want to insert the new value x we want to insert is 35. So how is the insertion going to work? In short, I am telling you, a and b will start with root. We already have a node created to which temp points, and temp arrow data has been stored with 35. Temp arrow left is null, temp arrow right is null. Observe the first few lines. Create a new node, store the data, and make left and right of that new node null. And then ask, is root equal to null? But root isn't null, root is pointing to 100. So we know that the node that we are creating, the new node, is not the very first node of the tree. So we will land in else and we will execute this else section. Now in the else section, a and b begin with root. So both the pointers a and b start at 100. And now how is this a and b going to move? Well, what are we adding? We are adding 35 in the tree. We are adding x equal to 35, isn't it? So x will be compared with a arrow data. A arrow data is 100. And we very quickly know that 35 is less than a arrow data. So a will be moved to the left child. I hope you are following it. A moves to the left child. But very carefully, we keep b at 100, isn't it? Now, when we inquire again, we first ask, is a not null? Yeah, a is not null. Then only the while continues. Check this while I am marking. As a is not null, while continues, but the very first line written in the while is b equal to a. So you notice how b follows a. Only if a is not null, b follows a. Now we again ask, is the data that we are adding, remember the data we are adding is 35, is it less than 50? A arrow data, current data is 50. And it is true, 35 is less than 50. So we again ask a to move to the left child because the value 35 should go to the left of 50. So a moves to 25. But b is still at the parent, b is at 50. Now when we go back to while again, we should continue because a is not null, isn't it? A is pointing to 25. So you see the very first line in the while loop, very first line is b equal to a. So how b follows a? B will now point to 25. And this is it now. Now when we compare the new value 35 with 25, we know that a should move to the right of 25. So a should become a arrow right. But if a becomes a arrow right, a becomes null because 25 is right is null. The pointer a will now become null. As soon as the pointer a becomes null, the while loop should break because while loop can continue only if a is not null. Now observe, when we are out of the while, we are sure that a is null, but we are sure about one more thing, that parent of 35 should be 25, where b is pointing. And really you will agree, parent of 35 must be 25 because 35 should be added to the right of 25, isn't it? So b points to the node which should be parent of the new node. But we are still confused. We don't know whether the new node 35, whether this new node should be added to the left of b or to the right of b. That has to be discovered. So for doing that, after the while, we have again inquired, is the new value 35, is it less than b arrow data? Now b arrow data is 25. Observe b arrow data in the picture is 25. And 35 less than 25 is false. So it means that 35, the new node, should be added to the right of b. So the statement b arrow right equal to temp will get executed. Now b arrow right exactly means 25 is right. 25 is right should point wherever temp points. And look at this, right child of 25 is 35 now. This is how the insertion goes on. I hope you have understood enough about the insert function. I would appreciate your efforts if you keep reading this, keep drawing the diagrams, keep understanding by inserting more and more nodes in the binary search tree. By the way, once we have created the binary search tree by calling insert functions, it is time to print the tree, isn't it? Just as we created linked list, then we displayed it. In fact, doubly linked list was displayed in two methods, forward and backward, you remember. Similarly, a binary search tree or binary tree can be displayed in three methods: in order, pre-order, post-order. So that are exactly the next functions that are written: in order, then pre-order, and finally the post-order. But we will make a separate videos. First of all, we will understand theory of in order, pre-order, post-order, and then in next to next video I will explain these recursive methods, recursive functions for in order, pre-order, post-order. Thank you very much.